Welcome to the Collab on the Andor official trailer, going over all our predictions and what our thoughts are going to be on the show. And I have high expectations for this show, so this is going to be with Derpy Boy, so hope you enjoy. So the first thing that I saw was probably so my predictions for the show, or for Andor's backstory, is that he is put into the Empire at a small age. From we can see the shot from him going into that Imperial Walker, I think, or something. He's going into some sort of area, and I think he's is put into the Empire at a small age, or might be an Empire slave. And he says you just walk in like you belong. So I think either he's put in at a small age, or he literally walks into the Empire and, I don't know, is a mole in the Empire.
Yeah, that was one of mine too, because he was in one of those. He was in one of those suits. In one shot of the trailer, I'm not sure at what point it was in, but he was in one of those. So we could also see that in his backstory. That's definitely a possibility. Another thing that I noticed is that we also are going to see another character's backstory, because this guy named Luthen, he was piloting a starfighter in a battle with other TIE fighters, and because of one of the shots he had longer hair and he looked younger, because in another shot he looked older and he had shorter hair, so we might be seeing that character's backstory as well.
Is he from Rogue One?
I think he is. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he is.
All right, I might do research on that. So I think we see a bunch of shots of the Imperial Senate, the Senate after Revenge of the Sith, and and we also see shots of those Imperial officers that are who will probably be the villains. And so in Rogue One, we saw Jyn Erso's father as one of those officers, and he was obviously a mole in the Empire. So I think there's a good chance of them using the same actor of Jyn Erso's dad, and I think he could definitely return, and maybe he could play a big role in the show, and I think he's probably going to help out Andor a little bit.
Yeah, I also think he's going to play a big role as well. Definitely, because he was a mole, it would be it definitely makes sense that he would be helping them out. And speaking on people returning, Forrest Whitaker, I noticed that he's returning as Saw Gerrera, a leader of the Partisans. So
yeah,
that was pretty cool because he was in Rogue One, so that's pretty cool to see him there as well.
Yeah, I got that point too. We've seen him in so many projects. We saw him in the Clone Wars, we saw him in the Bad Batch, we saw him in Rogue One, of course, and yeah, I saw that too. So I think we're gonna see how he we're obviously probably gonna see him in Bad Batch season 2, but I think in Andor we're gonna see his transition between the Bad Batch and how he went from being a low life rebel to where he is gonna be in Andor. So I don't think they're gonna go too deep into his story, because we're just gonna see mostly Andor, but I definitely also think he's gonna play a big role. I think the villains of the show are most likely going to be I don't know their names, but that one guy that we see a lot in the show with the white Imperial outfit, I think he's probably going to be the villain. I think he's probably gonna play a big role in trying to rat out some of the moles in the Empire, and he's probably gonna be chasing down Andor, like we see with Thrawn and the Rebels.
Yeah, I also think he's gonna be the villain. He was shown in the trailer a lot. And I definitely agree with you on how he's gonna try to rat out the moles in the Empire, because this does take place before Rogue One, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing that I saw was that there was a shot with one of the two brothers earlier on in the trailer, and I'm not. I think like not earlier on in the trailer, but in the middle of the trailer. But it also showed an early edition of an X-wing. I noticed that because since this is earlier in the Star Wars, the Star Wars timeline, X-wings weren't really made yet. So this is probably one of the earlier editions of the ships.
I did not see that. That's actually really cool. I I think we're gonna see like we saw like these like clone gunships. They weren't clone gunships, but they were like gunships of some sort. I think they're like, I don't know if they're Imperial or not, but they look like clone gunships. So that's cool that you brought up the early version of the X-wing. I want to know your thoughts on like the possibility of Vader showing up again, so we see the Imperial transport ship, like his ship from Revenge of the Sith. We see it, and he only played like a small role. Like he showed up at the end of Rogue One, because he was chasing Leia and the rebels. So like, what are your thoughts on like the possibility of Vader showing up again?
Well, obviously, whenever Vader shows up, it's going to be cool. So if he does show up, it would be cool. But honestly, I don't really think he will, because this is. I'm not sure like how many years after the events of Revenge of the Sith this is, but I don't think he's going to show up. He's probably still recovering. Still, not like fully recovering, but like he's still He's still in the process of trying to get back to like where he was, because obviously he all of his limbs were cut off. So I don't really think he's gonna show up. He might. I'm not sure, but I don't really think he's gonna show up.
Yeah. So I personally think that he will show up, but I think he's only gonna play like a really small role, like in Rogue One. He only had a hallway scene. I think he had like a total of 30 seconds of screen time in Rogue One. So I think there's like a small possibility of him showing up, and we saw him in Obi-Wan as well. And I'm hearing people like, oh, they're not using the character Vader. Disney is not using the character like properly. So I think that there's a small possibility of him showing up.
Yeah, you are right on the fact that Disney doesn't really use these characters properly. But another thing that I noticed is that at the end of the trailer, Cassie helps prisoners break out. There's people in white clothes that are barefoot. They're like running through a little bridge, and he's helping the prisoners break out. So I was wondering who those prisoners were. My theory is that they might be moles in the Empire who were captured, and he's just helping them break back out.
I personally think that they are slaves to the Empire, because in the first trailer we saw Cassian Andor like working with like many of those guys in white shirts. So I think that I'm pretty positive that they are Imperial slaves, and I think Andor is gonna walk in and like infiltrate the Empire by becoming a slave, and then he's going to break out the slaves, and that's how he's probably gonna do that. I have a theory for that. The Imperial Senate lady that was showing up, I think that she's gonna be another mole in the Empire. I think in this show, like, we're gonna see a lot of moles, and I think that the Senate lady that keeps showing up, I think she's gonna help out Cassian Andor a lot, and I think she could possibly be the reason that he escapes the Empire.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of moles this season. A lot of people, trying to help out on the a lot of people trying to help out Cassie and them. But really, what I wanted to point out is that I'm excited for this series a lot because of what the trailer was. Because the trailer really didn't show that much, so we don't really know deep into the plot, and we don't really and a lot of surprises can come. And also, this is only 3 episodes. I'm not sure how long each episode is going to be, but there are only 3 episodes. So I wonder how they're going to fit everything into the actual series.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about that. So at the end, so in the first trailer, they were like, yeah, it's going to premiere August 31st, but now it's like September 20th or something like that. But it says like the 3-episode premiere, and then on Star Wars Instagram, they posted like when all the episodes are going to release. So there's actually there's 12 episodes, but the first 3 are going to be releasing on September 21st, I think the date is. So we're going to be getting 3 episodes on the premiere, and then we're going to be seeing 12 episodes, which I'm really happy about because we haven't gotten a Star Wars show over 8 episodes, I'm pretty sure, or even a Marvel show over 8 episodes. So I'm really happy to see them like going over the boundary and going deep into Star Wars and like doing a 12 episode premiere. I also think, or not premiere, 12 episodes in the show. I also what are the thoughts on like there possibly being like a season 2?
Well, I definitely like there to be a season 2 because there's only going to be 3 episodes this season. And I also like how this is like, pretty mysterious and what we, really don't know what's going to go on with it. So a second season that can come around would definitely help us get a lot more information. And it would be cool to see how deep they go into this with this Star Wars lore. Yeah,
I'm definitely excited for this show. Like, I think this show is going to be better than Obi-Wan. I think it might be better than Mandalorian Season 1, but definitely not Season 2. Season 2 is, like, easily, like, the best of Mandalorian. Mandalorian Season 2 is easily, like, the best, like, any, like, Star Wars content since the Clone Wars. And, so, yeah, I'm really excited for this show. Anything else you want to say?
No, I don't have any other pointers.
Alright, so that is it then for Collab on the Andor official trailer. Make sure to check out Derpy Boy's channel because he makes some really good stuff, and make sure to subscribe and tune in for the next Star Wars episode. Star Wars just announced on their Instagram that they will be re-releasing Rogue One in IMAX theaters, which I am very excited for. I just watched Rogue One, so I'm going to try to enjoy it as much as possible. But we're also seeing a sneak peek of Andor only for IMAX theaters, so I will be breaking that down, and I'm getting my tickets, so I'll be breaking that down when that comes out on August 26th.